Hello and welcome to IAACE's Teacher Talk. This month, our topic is breaking up with worksheets, and I have David Shepard here with us today. David is from NEO Adult Education in Region 1. He's been an IAACE board member since 2024, and he is currently serving as the chair of the Collaboration and Engagement Committee chair. So, welcome, David.
Nice to be here, Maeve. How are you?
Good. How are you today?
Great.
And so today, like I said, our topic is breaking up with worksheets. You were recommended as an excellent teacher who has creative ways to engage students outside of just, here's your worksheet, go do this by yourself. So what are some of your ideas for reinvigorating learning that you turn to when worksheets seem uninspiring?
Well, for one, and this is fairly easy. So this will it takes almost no time to prepare, and that would be essential ed practice test questions together as a class. Doing that can involve all students, not just the ones who are almost ready to take the test, but everybody so that they see what it is they are aiming towards. Um, and so that's been an easy assignment to come up with for students, and it's meaningful. And there are no worksheets involved. They're reading because I have a Promethean board where I am. So I'm projecting it up there, and I'm fortunate to have that. And we're able to go through and actually do practice tests together if we wish to time them. Although I can tell you that's a little bit awkward if you run out of time. If you've done that before, you're well aware that that can happen, but you can do them in an untimed way as well to give students an untimed experience anyway. So there's that. There's another avenue I like to use too, and that's just simply post a question up and have one of those large sheets that you can place on a wall with adhesive there, place it on the wall, and then have your question for everybody to respond to. So you can be probing for understanding from everybody for any number of subjects, and just post with a sticky note so that they're getting up and moving and not just sitting there, and it's not a worksheet. That can then lead to a discussion following that. And again, no worksheet is needed for that. And it's very low tech in that sense, other than the Promethean, which I understand many of you may not have access to. Very low tech is journaling. That's a great way to get people to write, and it's a great way to at least get the essence of their understanding on a topic by asking them, say, for example, tell me about at least one new thing you learned when you were doing your distance learning on essential ed. So they're a tie into that, as well as writing and keeping them on pace, hopefully, with distance learning, because they've got to respond to that. Close activities. Those are not anything new, but they might be new in terms of being able to use technology to project that and not have that on a worksheet necessarily. And as a group, we can fill in things, and I can fill it in as a teacher. I have a device here, a document camera that we've been fortunate enough to receive through a grant here. And I have used that also for projecting how to use the calculator too, in a hands-on kind of way, so I don't have to walk around and show everybody each of the moves. They can be doing that as they are seated, but no worksheet be needed. I can also tie that into my Promethean board and project if I only have, say, one copy of something I'm using that they can help me fill in, then I can project through that document camera onto my Promethean, and I've done that before. Another avenue for you, and it requires a little bit more thought, though, and effort, would be a jigsaw, which I know that that's not anything new, but I have found that a very useful tool. And as you may well be aware, jigsaw, for those who aren't, a jigsaw would involve really digging in deeply into content that you've been covering, say social studies or
Mhm.
science, particularly good ones to do this with. And then you end up breaking apart into groups that you've pre-assigned people to. Hopefully you have an even number. You would get experts within the group who have a subsection.
Mhm.
They end up reporting in, and by the time we're done, people have really had a chance to interact with content in an engaging way and discuss it
Mhm.
and deepen their understandings before they present to the class. So that's a bigger term project. And another one is a take on an old favorite, or it's become an old favorite for a lot of people, and that is a Kahoot. Now,
Mhm.
a Kahoot could be done via the teacher leading that, which is most typically how that would be done. And again, range of topics, including math, that more expansive probably for that
Mhm.
than a jigsaw would be. It could be involve any subject. And then I have tried, and this has worked, Kahoots, where the students then take the initiative in their learning and create their own Kahoot for a given topic. And then I
Mhm.
can actually use questions there for the wider group once they've created those.
Mhm.
So those are a few ideas that I have that I've used uh, that really involve no worksheet being done
Mhm.
by the student.
Yeah, yeah, I love the idea of the Kahoot. I know a lot of our teachers here use Kahoots, but having the students make them just gives ownership into the classroom. And I also think all of the discussion based activities that you have are really strong. Our adults learn well in community with one another. So if they're able to discuss and pull on each other's strengths and weaknesses and build and learn together, I think that's an
Mhm.
amazing way to bring them in for that.
It really is. And my students seem to thoroughly enjoy it. They aren't always initially super enthusiastic, but they don't have to be, but they
Mhm.
come along for the ride. And I have a great group,
Mhm.
and they are usually very positive about how the activities have gone,
Mhm.
even if they weren't initially excited about doing it. So it's been useful. Sure, there can be problems with things. Anything
Mhm.
involving technology might bring forth some kind of a problem for you. But I'd say these were relatively low tech in nature,
Mm.
and they've really helped me out to kind of change up how the old order of business might go in a classroom for us in
Mhm.
adult ed.
Yeah, and I think I've shared before that I know in our program we have some students who come in who have not had ideal situations in school. And when you give them a traditional worksheet or you stand and you're lecturing up front, that just takes them back to that bad school environment that didn't work for them before. So I love that you can switch it up, show them like this isn't normal school, this is different, you're going to feel different, you're going to succeed differently here.
I like to say that probably 50% of my efforts are in teaching skills
Mm.
and content that they'll need, and the other 50% is boosting their confidence and getting them out of the old mindset of what they still see school as, and
Mhm.
breaking down those kind of barriers.
Mhm. Yeah, I think and the attitude that they come into school with can sometimes be the biggest barrier. So
Mhm.
so you mentioned most of these ideas you had were relatively low tech or simple to start. Do any of them require significant time or the big question, significant money to do?
Well, my document camera required that somebody write for a grant there, and that's how we received several of them. I don't know what their cost would be,
Mm,
um, but my understanding is very affordable, is my understanding. Of
mhm,
course, research hopefully would bear me out, and you could do that. Promethean, again, I think a grant was involved in that, and our building has many classrooms now throughout it, um, both in adult ed and on our high school side of our program
mhm,
that now have Prometheans. We didn't always have them, and we had just a few.
mm,
So it has been oh so helpful. So I understand that that is a true blessing to have
mm,
access to, that not everybody is there with. So then if you still have say the old overhead projector, uh, which looks like an antique now in the classroom. But if you've still got access to
mm,
one, that could certainly replace, to some extent, um, the two tools that I'm using that are technology based,
mhm.
and lower your cost because you've already got that.
Mhm,
And as far as time, um, whatever it takes to do a thoughtfully done, well thought out Kahoot would be involved there. Um, and then a well thought out close activity with the blanks in the appropriate place
mm,
and the time to create, the word bank for it, because you might need some differentiation for students who are true strugglers in the classroom, and that you've discerned that. So for some, you might offer them a word bank for that close activity that you're doing as a group.
mhm,
Uh, Others who are stronger in that particular subject would not have access to that
mhm,
word bank. So the time needed to create that. Um, for, but the other activities, no, very minimal on the time,
mhm,
and as well as the cost. If you've already got essential ed, and we all really should, um, if you haven't been doing like group things in essential ed
mhm.
and offering sort of test practice for students and a feel for what the questions are like, then you should be doing that.
I always tell the teachers in our program that if, especially if their essential ed hours are lower, that if they model it in class, it's more likely that the students will feel confident and comfortable going home and doing it. And if they can see, like, oh, I get my score after I take this practice test, then they can do that again at home. And sometimes just that reinforcement is encouraging, and we can get those distance learning hours up, which gets our MSGs up, which gets our HSEs up. It's all a very connected process.
Yes, yes, it is.
So, out of all of the different methods and activities that you listed, or any other activities, is there one that you feel like is the most effective or the most enjoyed by your class?
Well, students always enjoy seeing like their questions appear
Mhm.
maybe in a Kahoot. So they enjoy that. Um, hmm. I think they like the opportunity to shine
Mm,
on essential ed questions as we dive into them when I've got them posted, um, because they know at some point there'll be something they can do and
mm,
explain, because that helps me to better see where their truest understanding is, how deep it is, and it gives them a chance to be the teacher on that, to
mm,
explain it to somebody who undoubtedly in that classroom is not going to understand that particular question, and let them be the expert at that moment. So I
mhm,
think in terms of that and boosting their confidence and their self-esteem, probably that essential ed piece there,
mhm.
going over things together, it has a lot of return for it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you kind of mentioned that earlier. Half of your job is building the confidence in their belief in themselves that they can
That's
do
right.
whatever it is. So as we close out our time, I didn't know if you had anything else you would like to share. I did not mentioned this in your introduction, but I do believe you were our IAACE Teacher of the Year 2 years ago. Is that correct?
That is correct. That is correct.
Okay.
Um, I try to stay humble with that. I really do. I keep that award off site, and I always look at each day as a new day for me to either fumble or score a touchdown with.
Mhm.
And I try not to rest on my laurels,
Mhm.
and I try to become a better teacher as I go every day if I can.
Yeah, awesome.
Um, so, um, in closing, I would say be willing to try new. A lot of you already do embrace those the newer ideas and technology-based things.
Mm.
Um, they don't to be new. It doesn't have to be technology-based, and it only takes a willingness to try it, and even a willingness to fail at it, maybe miserably, but to fail because students need to see that in
Mm.
life, uh, yes, you too can have a failure as they've experienced many times, that you can bounce back from it and
Mhm.
learn and maybe improve that activity that next time that you try it then.
Mhm. I think that is wonderful advice. Thank you so much, David, for being here today. And for anyone watching, if you have any questions, you can send them to the IAACE email, or if you would like to reach out to David, we'll have some information and some links for some ideas and resources that he has shared. So thank you all, and we'll see you at our next IAACE Teacher Talk.